What do we have here? We got the genius of Brian Brown and his Yeagers. The Yeager is just a super cool knife. It's almost like simple in design. This, kind of squared off blade and, fairly angular handle with this nice large round area for the fingers. And it's not a big knife either. It's, let's see, what do we have? Here is what you'd call an EDC size, but maybe, on the higher end of EDC size. And let's see, here is a Chris Reeve knife, which is on the larger side, of EDC. So these guys are a little smaller. What is the blade length on a Yeager anyway? I'm gonna totally guess here. 3.25. Let's see, 3.2. So damn close. So you got a 3.2 inch blade. Overall length is about a 7.5, something like that, I think. Yeah, right around 7.5 inches for the whole thing. So not a big knife, fairly compact, but super useful blade with a really laser beamish hollow grind. Very slicey and very useful making cuts. I mean, that's what knives do, make cuts. So I guess that's not surprising that it's useful for making cuts. But I mean, some knives are less useful for making cuts than the Yeager. The Yeager is amazing. It's an amazing knife, amazing build. I think Riot, this is the V2 here, and this is the V3. I don't have a V1, and this one's actually not mine. This is one I'm working on for somebody else. In fact, let me take my ring off while I'm doing that. I don't scratch it up. So we got the V2 and the V3. Now, this one's mine. I actually did this one, did the anodizing and stuff for Alan Eller, but he just let me keep it. Like, here you go, dude, just have it for all the cool stuff you've done for me. It's like, is there a better dude out there? I don't think there is. Me looking for a better dude than Alan Eller. This one's going to get a singing backspacer mod here pretty soon, but not today. What I want to do today is figure out why this one has an excellent sound. Listen to this. Now listen to mine. Way better. This one has a better sound. It's clanky and just beautiful sounding. But, I mean, it's not that much better. It's a little better. But when you close it, it has... Well, wait. It's not there now. Oh, yeah, there it is. A little... clank... I don't know how to describe it. A little tinkliness sound. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to take it apart. We're going to take this guy apart and clean it out and re-oil it and see if there's maybe a little bit of metal dust in it or something that's making it make this noise. So I'm going to put mine away and we're going to get this one apart and then we're going to see what we can see. Now, what are all the bolts on the Yeager? I think we're looking at T8s on almost everything. Each of these bolts or screws, I probably don't need to take that one out. I'm done. That's the lock bar insert. Each of these screws, I took and sanded each one of them. That one was loose. You know what? Let's just try it again and see if maybe the screws were a little loose. And that is maybe where the noise is coming from. That'd be amazing if that's all it is. Okay. Wow. I feel like an idiot. I didn't tighten the screws all the way when I put it back together. Let's see. How's the centering? It is damn near dead center. It could be a hair. It could be a hair off. I don't know. I'm going to say that is pretty close to dead center. I'm going to say I can't get it any more dead center than that if it is a hair off. Okay. Well, I fixed the knife. Well, I guess we could work on mine. We could do the singing backspacer mod on mine since this didn't take any time and we got it done. Wait, did it do it again? Oh, it did do it again. Okay, we got to take it apart. All right, so we're going to go ahead and... Now, this is a weird pivot, man. So it's a T15 hole, and then it screws into this plate, I guess you could call it. So you have to unscrew it from the plate, then the plate can fall out, and then you can take it apart. It's weird. You'll see. There we go. We got a T15 here. Let's see if I can just do it by hand. Sometimes you can just, yeah, just do it by hand. No biggie. So this part is already out of the other side. So the barrel of the pivot just has the T15 on it, and then a smaller screw end here. You'll see when we get it all taken apart. I think I can leave the, yeah, I can leave the pocket clip on, because the pocket clip doesn't screw into the back spacer or any other parts that would keep it, that would keep the knife together. So we're just going to take off the lock side. Very nicely done. And we can show you how this kind of odd pivot works. So the pivot barrel looks like it's all one piece, but then it has this threaded bit that's smaller sticking out. So it goes through the lock side and into, whoopsie, probably should have not have those falling on the floor. They're hard to find if you drop them. So it goes through the lock side, through the blade and the bearings, and into this plate on the other side that has a dead end threaded hole in it. So that's how it's held together, and that's how the pivot works. So it's a little bit different. I don't think I've seen one exactly like that before, so it's kind of cool. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through this thing, clean the shit out of it, and then re-oil it, although it looks like it's oiled. So I'm kind of hoping against hope that that's what the noise is. Some gunk in the bearings or in the track or something. So let's just clean this guy fully out. And I'm not expecting to find anything that looks like it's, you know, going to cause that noise. I'm just hoping that it's something so small that I just clean it off inadvertently, and then when we get it back together, it sounds a little more, what's the right word, clean. It just sounds like a little something's going on in there, you know. So we're just going to clean it out real good. Now these are the washers that the bearings ride on up against the titanium in the handle. So I think you could even get a little noise if you had something under these washers, like just a piece of random metal dust, a little bit of a little flake of metal that got cut off. See, I did the I cut the choil bigger, so that there was definitely some metal dust flying when that happened, and maybe it didn't get all the way cleaned off or whatever. So I'm hoping that's what it is, because otherwise I don't know what to do about this little funky noise other than just say, sorry dude, I worked on your knife and now it has a funky little noise. Now maybe the noise was there before, but I don't feel like I remember it, so we're gonna assume that it was not there before. All right, so we'll take this guy out of here. Oh, we gotta clean the pivot real good too. All right, so I'm gonna take this and just rub, and then hope there's some gunk down below the washers. Let's see, how do they feel in there? Feel pretty good. Okay, so that one's good. And then this one, same deal. Just clean it real. Oh, that had some gunk in it. Okay. Oh, that had some gunk. You know, when you anodize with heat and then dip it in ferric chloride, which is how you get lightning anode, sometimes the ferric chloride deposits, I don't know, like gunk in the corners of, like where there are cuts down into the handle. There's gunk in this corner. So if I dip my paper towel down into this corner, I'll probably get a little gunk left over from the ferric chloride getting burned when it's heated and then dipped. Yeah, so look, so a little bit. All right, now I'm hoping that this is going to be enough. We're going to get rid of this little funky noise. I hate, funky little noises. They kind of annoy me. They're annoying. That was fucking terrible. All right, so I'm cleaning out this pivot real good. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, on the bearings, I'm going to just touch, well, okay, let's put this guy in first. So I'm going to put the pivot in first. No, this side. Put the pivot in first. And I got to have the pivot collar first. All right, so the pivot's in there, right? Now I'm going to take this little bit of this very expensive grease. This is Dow Corning, what do they call it? Dow Corning 33 lube. And it's a little thicker than oil. It's really good stuff. I'm going to put a tad of that on the, well, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a tad of it on the blade. Just a little tiny bit, and then it's going to go into where the pivot will go to. So the pivot will be riding on a little film of grease instead of just oil. So I'm hoping, yeah, that's too much grease in there. Don't want a lot, just want a thin film of this Dow 33. People don't really use Dow 33 in knives too much, but I do sometimes, especially if I get a little bit of a noisy knife. Oh, need the bearings first. Now for the bearings, I'm actually going to put just a drop of oil because, you know, they're gonna get a little bit of grease too. But I mean, so if you wonder what the difference is, what's the difference between grease and oil? Well, oil is just a liquid form of grease, you could say, and then you could also say that grease is just kind of like a semi-solidified version of oil. They're the same thing, basically. One's just a little thicker than the other, that's all. Okay, so we got bearings. We got one washer going. And we got just a tiny bit of oil on each bearing set. Okay, and then we got the other the other washer. I'm going to clean it off one more time. Okay, so it goes there. Now, all we need is this side of the bottom. Oh, I need the stop pin also. The stop pin goes right there. Push the washer back on where it goes. The back spacer here is already attached on this side, so we don't need to unattach it. So hopefully that little pin, there's 2 screws and a pin on the back spacer. Hopefully that pin doesn't fall out. When I do my singing back spacer mod on mine, I will have to take the, I want to put the body screws in first, I think. I'm going to have to get rid of that pin in the back spacer, because that pin is kind of unnecessary for one thing. It's already got 2 screws holding it. The pin is kind of a, almost like an extra, a backup. That back spacer is not going anywhere with 2 screws holding it near the back. So I'll get rid of that pin, and that lets more of the back spacer vibrate, because the pin is kind of in the middle of the front half of it. I want the whole thing to be able to vibrate. So we will get rid of that pin. So you'll see when we do that. It'll be cool. And then it'll be a tingy, noisy boy, kind of like a Brian Winterblade Factor, something similar to that. All right, come on, baby. Let's work this time. Okay, that's just hand tightened, and it's just about perfect. How we got for, okay, yeah, we're good for that. Okay. Clean off any grease that got on the blade. Yeah, I don't hear the noise. It happened when the noise would happen when I kind of shake it down hard, okay? So I'm not hearing it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a little bit of this Dow grease on I'm gonna put it on the end of this oil dispenser. And I'm gonna touch it just barely to the detent ball. Now that's too much, but we will clean it off. And that's gonna hopefully make the drop sheddiness a little better. Now I'll clean it off the extra. Hopefully it's now spread itself across the detent track, so we don't necessarily need the extra sitting in here now. Boy, what a great sound. Maybe a little bit too tight. Let's see. Could be a little more drop shutty. Yeah, but I can't adjust that lock bar anymore. That lock bar is already, if I adjusted that lock bar out anymore, we would get lock rock. Now there's no lock rock now, but if I adjusted it out anymore to make it more drop shutty, I'm going to get lock rock. And that's like almost for sure because it's so close to already being a little bit light on the pressure. So when you push your lock bar over, you should be able to put a little pressure on it first before it moves. Then you press further and then it moves. Now this guy doesn't take a lot of pressure to get moving. So that means it's not that far away from being not enough pressure, and then you're going to get lock rock. So if this lock bar only pressed in this far, now I can feel it lock rocking. So I'm holding it away from where it normally sits. But no, as soon as I let it go, now it sits where it's supposed to, and now there's no lock rock. So that tells me that I don't want to adjust it anymore. I made one tiny adjustment in it, and I think that's good. So right now, with a little oil in the detemp ball, it goes down with one shake and doesn't have that noise anymore. So I've fixed it. I am very happy. No more noise. Let's clean it off real good. It's got such pretty ano on it, but if you get grease on your fingers on it, the ano gets kind of dull. So let's give it a little cleaning with some alcohol, and you can see the full kind of prettiness of it. This thing's getting shipped out today, so it's going to go bye-bye back to its owner. I just want it to... It has a neat iridescence. So what I did was, with this one, I sanded it with parallel lines, if I remember right, didn't I? Or were they up and down lines? No, parallel lines. So, like the final sanding of the frame with, I think 800 grit sandpaper was this way, perfectly parallel. So I made sure that I didn't go diagonal or any other way, perfectly parallel. So, because of that, when you get it in the right light, it has this sort of iridescence to it, almost like a gemstone, kind of. And if you'd have just polished it, say, it would be reflective, but it wouldn't be iridescent like this. So I kind of like it a little better even than a full polish. I mean, you know, full polish is great, but then also this has a little better grip than, say, a full polished handle would. Now down in between the polished, or not polished, but finely sanded part, we'll call this finely sanded, there's this part that's just been etched, and then this edge has been etched too. So we have etched on the edges and then in these grooves, and then sanded kind of almost to a polish on the flats. And then the reason I went parallel with these is because this bit right here, this little plate, I guess you could call it the pivot plate, was already sanded parallel this way. So it kind of all matches up with that now. I think it came out really, really good. Very brilliant colors that pop real good. This one I had to do twice. The first one came out a little anemic, and like this little bit right up here bugs me still. It's a little anemic, a little too bright blue. I like the darker, vivid blue better, but I would have to, you know, tear all the coating off again and redo it again. There's no guarantee I wouldn't have it worse. You know, this is not a science. This is an art form, you know. So I think this is probably the best I can do on it, and I like it a lot. I mean, look at that. Look at those textures, and not textures, patterns. Just such really pretty patterns on there. Brian Brown Yeager. It had a little funky noise, and now the noise is gone. So we're going to send it on, happy with the outcome of it, and hope the owner of this newly modded knife is also happy with the outcome of it. Look at this beauty. Have a nice day.